Hello, welcome to Red Hawk Spotlight. I'm Anthony Rios. Our guest today, senior forward for Montclair State women's basketball team, Alex McKinnon. Alex is a big part of Montclair State's success so far this season, averaging 12 points and 6 rebounds. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Coming from Fairfield, Connecticut, what brought you to Montclair State?
Actually, basketball did. I had really never heard of Montclair State before. And then there was one tournament. Coach Harvey reached out to me after. I came and visited, and I fell in love with it.
Describe your success being a part of championship teams your freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah, it's super fun. I was lucky enough to be a part of those teams and come in, and there was some great older girls, some great leaders to kind of look up to. So being a part of that was awesome, and then just trying to carry on that legacy.
And how has your role changed this season?
I think just more of a leader, trying to be more vocal as well as leading by example. Trying to give the girls some bits and pieces of information if I can, and just trying to help gel everybody together and that kind of stuff. But our team this year is super close, so it makes it really easy.
As a player, what are some of your biggest strengths and how do you fit into Coach Harvey's offensive system?
We actually talk about like defending, rebounding, and then running the ball on offense, and I love playing that type of style. So I love getting out in transition, running up and down the court, and trying to get some stops. So I really like to play defense, just work really hard on the defensive end, and then kind of do all of the little things. I like to shoot the three if I'm open. I can post up inside, but yeah, it's just kind of whatever is needed, I'm there to do.
And how would you describe fellow team captain Karis McKinnon and on and off the court? Excuse me.
Yeah, she's my best friend. So freshman year, we came in and we roomed together, and we've been best friends ever since. So we have a really good bond on and off the court. It's been super, super fun playing with her and having senior year with her.
The Redhawks, once again, are the best defensive team in the conference. What is it about your style as a team that differs you from the rest?
Just like I said, this year a key part of our team, like defensive mentality, has been rebounding. So we're playing super hard defense, and then we're just trying to get the ball and run and limit teams to one shot. So kind of by doing that, we've been getting some more looks on offense, and then trying to get some offensive rebounds as well. So when we're on defense, we're playing hard, we're communicating, and we're always in each other's help side is kind of what we call it. So I think by doing that and kind of having trust in one another allows us to get those stops, and then we're getting some rebounds and getting some good looks.
Who has been your biggest supporters throughout your career at Montclair State off the court?
Definitely my parents. They love it. I am from Connecticut, and they've been at, I think, almost every single game this season, so they're really taking it all in. They love following the team on social media, getting to know everybody on and off the court. Yeah, they're going to miss it, definitely.
Speaking of social media, what is MSU South Pole? Can you please explain that to me?
Yeah, so actually one of our freshmen, Courtney Hardy, is the creator of MSU South Pole. And so one Division I team started to do this, and they kind of took over an Instagram, and it's like the bench is kind of where this all started. She kind of took that on, and now every game day we're doing a vlog. So she's creating the vlog and getting everybody kind of involved. So all the girls absolutely love it. We all think it's like super fun. And then parents, we have a bunch of followers. We actually got over 100 followers, and Coach Harvey got us pizza because we were able to get that many. So yeah, it's really fun, and they're doing a really good job with it.
Is there a reward for 200?
Hope so.
Is MSU South Pole only on Instagram, or is there like a Twitter account for it? Where can you find MSU South Pole?
Yeah, MSU South Pole is on Instagram, and I think it's at MSU South Pole. I think that's what it is. And then we also have our Instagram that a couple people are running as well. But the South Pole is run by our freshmen. So yeah, everybody should give that a follow.
Last year, your season ended in the first round of the NJAC Championship Tournament, breaking a streak of 6 straight titles. How did that motivate you coming into this season? Yeah,
that was a hard way to go out last year. And I think we just felt like we never really reached our full potential. And so that kind of left us hungry to go in this year. And a lot of the returners, we all kind of talked about it at the end of this last season and the beginning of this season. And it was just super motivating. And we were just like, we don't want our season to end like that. We don't want that to be, Karis and I were like, we don't want that to be how we go out on our senior year. So it's been really good. And then the freshmen came in and totally bought into the program and have been working super hard. So it's been really good. I'm
glad you mentioned freshmen because your teammate, Nikki Carter, has made a huge impact so far in her freshman season. What makes her so special?
She's just an awesome player and has a confidence about her. And I think that that's like a really good thing, and it's hard to come in as a freshman and have that much confidence on the offensive end, and she does. She knows that one of her roles is to score, and she does that. She has awesome takes to the basket, and I think she just came in and was able to gel with the rest of us really well, and so the rest is kind of history. She's been doing awesome.
How much would it mean for you to win a championship in your senior year?
Yeah, it would mean a lot. That's the goal, and I think we're on a really good streak right now to kind of get and reach that goal. We kind of talked about that today a little bit of kind of what we need to do to get to that point, and I mean it would mean a lot. Like I said, junior year, that's not how we wanted it to end. So to be able to kind of flip and go out on a win would be awesome.
And that was your goal at the start of the season?
Yeah. That's always the goal, and NJAC championship.
So far throughout your Montclair State career, what's been your favorite memory being a part of the Redhawks?
My sophomore year, NJAC championship was awesome. We beat TCNJ, and that was a really big win for us. And that season, as a whole, we kind of overcame a lot of obstacles that year. So to be able to go out on top was awesome. But honestly, it's like every single year I've had so much fun just like getting to know my teammates. And I've made some really close friendships out of this. So that's kind of what I'll remember.
Coach Harvey is the winningest coach in program history. Mm-hmm. What makes her so successful?
She has great relationships with her players, and she's a really good communicator. She always talks about that in the beginning of the season, open communication, and one of the core values of our program. So her leading by example on how to do that and to be able to have the relationship with us off of the court so she kind of knows how to push us on the court is something she's great at. So I've really enjoyed forming a relationship with her, and I think it's paid off.
Now, you played with Katie Sirer, one of the greatest players in Montclair State history. Mm-hmm. Now, she's an assistant coach.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
It's awesome. I'm happy to have her back. She has such a great basketball mind, and so to be able to, in a game, in a practice, just go up to her and ask her something, what her thoughts are, what she would have done in that situation is super helpful. And she was a great leader when she was playing with me and somebody I looked up to, so to have her back is awesome. And is somebody that I think a lot of people like to go to for advice, so it's really benefiting the program.
Last year you participated in the program, so you want to be a coach. Do you actually want to be a coach?
Yeah, so that's actually coming up this year. So so I do want to be a coach. I hope to do that in the future. My thought right now is next year to hopefully be a graduate assistant at a program while I'm doing my master's. So I'm really looking forward to that program, hoping it kind of helps.
Would you want to coach at Montclair State?
I probably won't coach at Montclair State. Maybe in the future. Definitely, I love it here, and I would love to come back. But I am hoping to get my master's alongside of it, and they don't actually have graduate assistants here. So I'll probably go somewhere else for a little bit, but you never know.
What's a typical day in practice like?
So we usually practice for about 2 hours, plus or minus. We get there. We do our stretches, we kind of go through our routines, we have some shooting drills that we do, and then we kind of get into the swing of things. Kind of depending on the team that we're playing and what their strengths and weaknesses are, that's kind of where we go from that. So some days we might be focused more on our press, or some days we might be focused more on our press break. It really depends on the matchups that we have that week.
Is there anything the team does outside of basketball as a collective unit? You know, the bonding?
Yeah, we try and hang out. A lot of us hang out all the time. So in the beginning of the season, actually, one of our goals before we kind of got fully into games was each class had to host an event. So we actually, we did some icebreakers, funny stuff. We went out to dinner. When it was around Christmas time, the juniors actually all had us do a gingerbread house competition. So that was super fun. So we just try and find fun ways to hang out and make sure that we're kind of doing things off the court as well.
Who originally got you into basketball?
I think just my mom and dad. My dad played a bunch of sports, I'm an only child, so it would always be him and I playing outside when I was growing up. And in the town I grew up in, there was a bunch of opportunities for like kids to get to play, and we had something called Wakeman, and we had rec, and then it kind of went into PAL, and then middle school, high school. So I started probably when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and kind of kept going from there, just depending on what leagues were available.
At what age did you start playing basketball?
So I think it was in 2nd grade, so 8, 8, yeah.
And then it just took off from there.
It took off from there, yeah. I really loved it. I played a bunch of sports at first, and then in high school, I did volleyball and basketball, actually. But I just always had a love for basketball and kind of knew if I was going to play a sport later on, then that was going to be it.
So being a student athlete here at Montclair State, is there any like struggles you go through? Is it hard to be a student athlete?
There are days that it's tougher than others. Time management is a huge thing and something that we all kind of have to learn when we're freshmen, and you can kind of see that every single year, that it's just something that you kind of have to pick up and become accustomed to. So this semester I'm actually student teaching as well as playing, so there's some days that it's tougher than others, but Coach Harvey's super helpful with our schedules especially, and kind of helping all of us make sure that we're at practice, so it's totally manageable. Just have to kind of be on top of it.
Now I understand the NJAC tournament is coming up. Anything you're looking forward to the most?
Hopefully getting an extra home game. That's kind of our goal right now. So we're hoping to clinch number 1 or 2, because that means that we get a first round bye and then a following home game.
Is there any matchup specifically you're looking forward to?
Every game is like, we're talking about this earlier actually, the NJAC this year, like anybody can win any game, and we're seeing that. So it's really fun to be in a league kind of like that. We'll see TCNJ, Kane, Rowan in the tournament, so it'll be fun, yeah.
The basketball world had to deal with the sudden death of one of the all-time greats, Kobe Bryant. Was there anyone specific that you idolized growing up as, a fan of basketball?
Yeah, Kobe Bryant was an inspiration for sure. Women's basketball-wise, from Connecticut, so huge UConn fan. So UConn women's basketball was a big following for me, and I still watch their games today. So Breanna Stewart was one of the first people that I would say I really looked up to. But all of the big UConn names, Tina Charles, all of them. So I like to follow that, and I still do.
Would you say that you idolize your game after them?
Hope so. Breanna Stewart's an amazing player, and I do think that she plays a lot of positions very well. She can shoot the 3, she can take it to the hoop, so some of the things that I try and do, but.
Now, I understand you're approaching 1,000 points as a Montclair State Red Hawk. How does that feel?
It's cool. It would be a good achievement, but it's not really something that I'm super focused on, honestly. I'm more worried about an NJAC championship. That's what I really want.
So I understand a couple of years ago you had to deal with a hip injury, I believe it was. How was it going through that and eventually prevailing coming back to the game?
Yeah, that was tough. My sophomore year, kind of midway through the season, I knew something wasn't quite right with my hip, but played and we made it to the Sweet 16, so totally worth it. But I did find out after the season that I had a stress fracture in my right hip. So after that, I just had to do what I had to do to kind of get back. So I was on crutches for a little while, and then kind of spent the summer into the fall doing some rehab, physical therapy. And I think I got actually fully cleared like the week before the season started, so it was worth it. But yeah, it was a tough couple months.
And what season was that?
That was my sophomore year that it
was your
happened. So
sophomore year.
I got cleared the week before my junior season started.
Is there any player on the team specifically that you feel like you have the biggest bond with?
We're honestly a really close team, and we work really hard to all bond and have connections with one another, because we've kind of found in our program, and kind of the program that I came into was everybody on the team was friends, and that's how you were going to win games, was being close to one another so you could have tougher conversations if you had to, but that you would win together, you'd lose together, and you'd figure it out together. So I think that's something that our program is really great with. Obviously, Karis and I have been living together for 4 years, or 3 years, but so she's my best friend for sure, and I've kind of gone through, I guess, the most with her because we came in as freshmen together. but everybody loves hanging out with one another, and that's just kind of what makes our program special.
Alex, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
I'm Anthony Rios, and thanks for watching Red Hawk Spotlight.